Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another thrilling episode of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. Tonight's scene is a thrilling one, at least for a particular person in our group. After a talk with the Guardians and permissions from the Den Father, two of the Cubs have gathered together. They have snatched up a good friend and all piled in the van to go on a nice trip out to a very particular bridge. Lucas's favorite bridge, his dream bridge, the bridge from which he has been banned for a whole month now. With proper climbing gear in the back of the van, the two Cubs probably conferring on the various tactics so that Maeve at least has some idea how she's supposed to tackle this once she's harnessed up. They will drive out to the scene, and I will leave it to Olaf to determine where exactly he's setting the van, or if he's even stopping fully, or just letting people pile out and going on.
The van creeps through the main roads, only partially maintained against the storm that, for whatever reason, many city officials simply didn't see coming till it was a little too late. He drives slowly and carefully, methodically, almost, and as they get on the approach to the bridge, he turns off into side roads and alleys, feeling his way through these modern-day catacombs until finally he's on a path that's taking him to a place where usually only maintenance personnel and people with other reasons to be under this bridge go. Once he's at one of the bases with its cold metal ladder sunk into the thick concrete pillar, a thing only meant for the occasional technician or perhaps someone who's really, really into urban geolocating. He stops, he cuts the lights, cuts the engine. Its rumble dies beneath the cold winter wind, and suddenly they only have the pale light of the city to work with. Luna, at the moment, is visible in glimpses, but the howling storm does its work, obscuring most of the heavens. He looks back at the Cubs. His face is a begrudging grimace with a cigarette stuck in it. Do what you have to. Get back. Don't die.
In the back seat, one of the Cubs, experienced knowing, and looks to Olak Tervasen, himself already kitted out, geared out, with cords, with cables, with ropes, with hooks, with climbing gear and climbing equipment. Just goes ahead and looks him in the eye and says, "Don't worry, we're good." Goes to the back, opens up the back of the van, hops out, and immediately runs through this very, very harsh winter storm that is blazing across the entire landscape, a complete whiteout. But he has a purpose. He brings into his pocket, or brings out of his pocket, I should say, a little fantastic tumbler kit, and gets to work on one of the chain links and working at one of the lockers to bring them access to the ladder. They'll bring them high, high up the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, Maeve will be following not too far behind. She's probably still clipping into the noob harness, as it were. Anything to give her a little more security, as she is not nearly as sure-footed as her good friend. But she will have bundled up, probably has proper climbing gloves, thanks to a certain someone, and will follow quickly out the back of the van, glancing to Ren first so she doesn't go and slam the door in her face, but either closing it behind or leaving it open for Ren to follow, and takes off after Lucas.
Ren puts a hand on the door and gives Maeve a grin so that she doesn't hold it, and then closes the door most of the way so she's not letting cold air into Olaf's nice warm van. And she reaches over and pulls a thermos out of her purse and hands it to Olaf.
Olaf waves it off. Keep it for yourself. I'll be fine.
Oh, don't worry, I've got more. And she sets it on the seat where she was sitting, and then slides out of the van. Ren currently looks like a very short, fat yeti. The tip of her nose is like maybe the only thing that is exposed. Ren hates this weather with a fiery passion burning deep in her soul, and she is wearing a hat and a scarf and another scarf. She's just bundled up, as bundled as a person could be, and she kind of waddles out, following Lucas and Mabe, with her purse slung over one shoulder.
This is going to take his time with this particular lock. Tumbler is going ahead and setting 1, 2, 3, letting those behind him have a little bit of a chit chat if they want to.
Oh, Maeve's hovering close, but she's not going to distract him from his work, not when it's something like lock picking. She's seen a couple movies, and she's pretty sure you listen really close to know when the tumbler goes, so, you know, don't want to mess that up.
Ren will reach over with her fat gloved hands and kind of tug on Maeve's harness a little just to make sure that it's holding, that the straps are secure and everything looks good.
Yep, Maeve will brace herself against it, and considering that Lucas has probably been involved in getting the harness on her properly, so she doesn't fuck it up spectacularly, it should hold fairly well. It's like it was designed for this.
Ren pulls her scarf down for a minute to grin so that Maeve can see it and just says, "Don't die."
And Maeve is likewise going to have to tug on her scarf a little bit, but she's also grinning broadly. It's clear that some of Lucas's excitement over this whole bridge ordeal has gotten into her, and she's not quite wiggling, but she's definitely got a high energy sort of thing going on. And she nods. That's the plan.
Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Access. The lock comes undone. Lucas goes ahead and takes the lock out. Goes ahead and let the chain go ahead and just swing there. Goes ahead and keeps the lock there. Actually, you go ahead and offer it to Rin. Keep this safe. We're going to need it when we want to leave.
Got it.
Alright. Lucas goes ahead and takes one of the cables connected to his harness. Goes ahead and offers to the Maeve. Click it to yourself.
Yep, she will take a hold and most likely will clip it to a ring somewhere about her her chest, so it's a good stabilized point.
Do you want me to anchor you down here?
Lucas goes ahead and throws a bit of cable behind him, like that, in case we fall off the entire bridge.
I'm gonna tie this to something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just try not to hit more bridge on the way down, okay?
Oh, believe me, the way we're doing this, we're gonna go crawling right up the arc of one of these support pillars, and if we do fall, we're headed towards the Hudson River more than anything else. Excuse me, the West River more than anything else.
Well, don't die. And Ren, I assume these
The
things have
wind
some
and the
kind
teal
of...
goes ahead and... Say again?
Sorry, I'm assuming that there's some kind of attacher that she can use to hook it onto the bridge. So that if they fall
There
down,
is...
like a
Oh,
carabiner or something.
I'll say this. There's an iron ring you can go ahead and attach to, if you really want to.
Okay, Ren will do that.
Definitely. Once that is done, Lucas definitely looks like he has a purpose. Definitely looks like he has a drive and an energy and a power. He walks into place he's just gone ahead and busted into, looks at his gloved hands, shakes them out, grabs one of the rungs, looks behind him. Maybe ready?
She nods. Just tell me when I need to do something.
Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to follow me. I do not want you anywhere beyond 3 paces away from me. If I start losing my grip, don't move. If you start losing your grip, tell me. No, seriously, tell me. Tug on this. He tugs on the rope between you two. Tug on this twice, and I'll know to stop.
All right.
He goes ahead and clasps his hands, starts to wring them. All right. A devilish grin goes across his face as he starts the ascent. And he's going to roll pretty much strength athletics to see how far he can possibly get. Mm-hmm. 2 strength, 3 athletics. Let's see what happens. 1 success. How does Maeve do?
I am going to cheat and assume that she is in Glabro, because this is what she did the last time she needed to climb something. Seems like a good tactic. So with that extra little bit of strength... I've got 2.
2
So
successes.
she's keeping up.
Alright. You certainly keep up. In fact, you go ahead and butt your head across Lucas's feet once or twice before Lucas gets a little bit agitated. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yep. She'll mumble an apology into her scarf and linger back a bit and pay closer attention to the pacing instead of just trying to, forge her way boldly up this ladder.
Unfortunately, you are limited by Lucas at the moment since he is taking the lead. But he will certainly go ahead and roll again. He doesn't seem to be moving as fast as you. I'm seeing as you're
wise.
and seeing as you're currently cheating, he's gonna go ahead and cheat just a little bit. Yeah, much better this time. 3 successes to continue the climb.
Oof. Yeah, now it's her turn to slow down a little bit, and he'll probably feel a little bit of drag on the line. Like as not, after all that enthusiasm, she gets a little too mindful, thinks about it a little too hard, gets a bit of a slip and locks her grip and gives a double tug real fast just to let him know that she's gotten caught up, steadies herself.
The wind goes ahead and blows. It is chilly. It is freezy. You have no idea why winter's been has ended now because you were colder than you've ever been. All throughout this 1 month lunar cycle, you have been safely within the sept, safely able to go ahead and run towards a cabin to go ahead and get warmth, but your very, very bones go ahead and chill now as your head and your hair, if it's not secure, goes ahead and whips around you.
No, it's been secured by several hair bands and then is tucked into both her coat and under her scarf so that it won't whip in her eyes while she's trying to climb.
All right.
Thank
Let's see how
goodness.
far. I'm sorry? Go ahead.
I said, thank goodness.
Let's see how far we get on this particular track. God damn it. it is now your turn to go ahead and butt against Lucas again.
She won't necessarily butt. She has the successes to get that far, but she's still going to be pacing herself. Even if she has the strength to feel like she could go a little faster or a little further, she will be more carefully pacing because rattling his foot off of one of the rungs is no way to get to the top.
Mm-hmm. While these two are currently making their trek up, they seem to be moving slowly, laboriously. They seem to be still making their progress. What are the two down on the ground doing?
Ren is watching them. She's leaned up against the bridge.
Olaf is also watching them. He is close to the van. He doesn't want to be far in case he sees lights coming down the correct path. He'll need to get the vehicle away in that case. He's not sure if the two up top can scramble or hide, but he knows that getting another van compromised is not on the to-do list.
Oh, in her vast luck, Maeve has worn mostly white. I mean, she's got jeans on, but the coat is white, the scarf's white. At least she's blending in fairly well, and with the snow coming down like it is, it should be coating them pretty rapidly.
Lucas, for his part, is going to go ahead and tap into the gifts that are given by Luna. And Gaia, go ahead and do a double pace. Which means, basically I forgot to go ahead and put in my merits and my gifts, so now I'm doing that. I'm a jackass, I know.
Well, it means that I won't bump into you anymore, but it means I'll be the one slowing you down.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not. Holy poop.
Holy poop, you say?
I do. 4 successes on 5 dice is pretty darn good. So she's doing an admirable job of keeping up.
You have an admirable job of keeping up. Lucas himself is starting to tap into his natural talents and the gifts of Gaia. You seem to be springing up. You find yourself about 3/4 of the way up. You can look to the left, and you see the cityscape of Manhattan Island right in front of you. All those wonderful corporate headquarters, those buildings, those creations of man and the weaver stretching out before you. And to the right, you can see more of the wilderness, more of the rural wilderness, the wild stretching out before you. In front of you, you can see, well, what has been created here. You see the bridge. You see the icy cold rungs that are starting to bite and bite your hands. You're wearing very, very comfortable gloves, but the icy coldness goes ahead and just bites at you so hard.
Oh, she's clinging for dear life, though since she's doing fairly well. She does have a couple carabiners, probably extra, on her harness clipped on for just such an occasion. And she will be every so many rungs clipping one on and leaving it behind, giving herself something of a stairway should she have to scale this without his help next time. Anything to make it a little easier the next time around.
One final push. One final push.
Oof!
Nobody loves me tonight.
The final push, perhaps Lucas sees the top and he gets filled with another burst of enthusiasm and jolts ahead a little too fast, gets a little too far, yanks on the tether a bit, and Maeve will start to lose her footing and at least has the sense to loop an arm literally through the rung. It's a good way to break her arm, but it's also a good way to keep from bringing them both down to the ground. So she'll hook her arm through the rung that she's at, and it'll take her a second to steady enough to give that telltale double yank that she's starting to lose her footing. And it'll take her a hot second to not only get her feet beneath her, but to feel confident, in fact, that her feet are beneath her, because that's a little bit too much like seeing your life flash before you. Dangling from a height like that is pretty harrowing. So she'll get her feet on the rung, scuff them there a couple times to feel like she's got some sort of grip, steadies her hands, and then finally calls up, "Okay, I think I'm steady."
Lucas, just being on the lip, just having gained that height, turns around for a quick second, leans really, really low, actually gets on his belly, and he goes ahead and reaches out from the ledge. Just grab my hand.
And she'll kind of freeze there for a second, just because that final crawl up over the lip, that's the one point where she doesn't have rungs over the edge to guide her along. So she'll very, very carefully, very slowly get to that final bit of rung and stretch out her hand.
Lucas stretch out his very, very gloved hand. It's scrambling. It just wants to grab your hand. Just wants to grab, just wants to pull.
And I just realized my dice aren't showing now, but with 2 successes, she'll reach up, take firmly a hold of the offered hand, and throw in some faith to help push herself up over that ledge.
And with just a base strength athletics check, your wrist gets very, very securely grappled. It drags you more than lifts you. It drags you over the lip of the ledge. You're skidding across. You are covered completely and utterly in snow. The top of the structure is also completely covered in snow, ice, concrete, a very, very harsh chill. You are frozen almost to the bone, but you have the wonderful, wonderful winter equipment wrapped all around you. You have made it. You have made it to the top.
And she will, once she's pulled up, once she's sure she's there, and, well, as close to whatever center there is, because that is a very, very dizzying distance from the ground, we'll just sort of start laughing. It's almost a panicked laugh, but it's also a victorious sort of laugh. Just sheer shock at the fact that they managed to get all the way up there and do so without any serious failings or risks of falls.
He's going to go ahead and grab you, bring him close to you, and sort of laugh with you because he is of a laughing mood. This is what you do.
Oh yeah, she will clench him in.
These two people on top of this particular bridge, covered in snow, covered in ice, continuously harassed by wind and weather, go ahead and remain quite very, very still. Laughing. Very, very small laugh, very, very private laugh to themselves. What are the people on the ground doing?
Brenna's still watching. She's actually pretty comfortable, holed up over here in her scarves. And she's a little dark blur down at the bottom, peering through the snow.
Olaf. I'm sorry. Olaf is also keeping an eye on them, though he has to split his attention quite often between the two up top and whatever happens to be going on near the bottom.
And once she's recovered some semblance of her sanity, she's probably got the adrenaline rush pretty hard right now because, well, they did make it to the top and nobody died. That's always good, but this is very, very high up. So, a little shaky, she'll kind of glance back towards the ladder and tug down her scarf so that she can be heard over the howling wind. Can we use the clips on the way down? Holy shit.
Of course we can. Oh god. It's a freaking storm, isn't it? Wind blows, ice and snow goes ahead and blows. These two people could be an immeasurable distance away from each other, having to yell over this wind and ice.
And during this pause above, let's see if she can even manage to peek through the veil to see how close the spirits are so I have some reference for later. Yay! At the very least, I got a 10. It would help really a lot if this thing would show my dice. Just for the sake of having it visible, I'm going to do this for half a second so that it is recorded. There it is. And so with a peek across and a glance around them and up above, she'll kind of nod to Lucas, and it is up to him to set the pace of when they start their descent.
Lucas is not very, very eager to go ahead and set the descent. He's wearing winter clothing. He's wearing a very, very thick skull cap. But he seems to have found himself a place to sit. He seems to have found a place for him to go ahead and just stare off into the horizon, however dark and obfuscated it is by the weather. He seems to have found his place of purchase, his place of solace, and he does not seem quick to want to escape it.
Did they use Shaggy to get here?
No.
No. Well, the van that was used to get here, the doors inside of it open as there's a kick to them. And the Bonar in sort of a ragged leather coat with a even more ratty, probably a Nutria collar, sort of stumbles out yawning, looking at the side of the bridge and immediately jumping over towards Olaf, grabbing a hold of him by the arm as she realizes she's on a suspension bridge, very high above what she would consider ground.
The two of them are actually at the base pillar.
How far away is that from the van?
Not that far.
So yeah. We'll just say that she kind of stumbles out, starts walking towards them, and then when she sees the distance they are up above the water, she grabs a hold of Olaf, damn near climbing on top of him. Sort of latched onto him like a squirrel.
Olaf's head rotates until he is simply looking at Dizzy. He looks down at her with the same begrudging grimace that he had for the cubs. Have you been drinking?
No, I was sleeping.
Why are you freaking out?
We're off the ground.
And?
She just looks at him with a very matter-of-fact, we're off the ground.
Ren reaches into her purse and pulls out another what do you call them, thermos, and holds it out to Dizzy.
I don't understand why this is a problem.
She doesn't like heights.
I don't like heights.
You're doing a good job too. You want some hot cocoa?
No. Yes. Yes, I do.
I need to make myself a willpower roll.
And if Dizzy isn't taking the thermos, she hands it to Olaf first.
Okay, Dizzy, she's still, she's kind of got like one arm wrapped around Olaf's, and it's about as tight as she can muster its strength too. Olaf would be hard pressed to get away from her without at least some sort of a physical struggle. But she'll reach out one hand and take the thermos and sort of just swig out of it with sort of in an uncouth manner.
Garrett will make his way onto the scene at this point. He heard that the Cubs were going climbing, and because the band's over, he knew that the Brooklyn Bridge was the target.
Dizzy, is it going to be a thing in the future?
She just shakes her head. Depends on what you mean by thing.
Like, am I going to have to wonder every time we have to go up to a high place if you're going to do this? Because you ain't
Probably.
heavy, but you ain't light either.
She just looks up at him. Just if an expression could just dictate why are you being an asshole right now, that's her look.
You're not going to
That's her
have to worry
expression.
about it. You're not going to have to worry about it because she's my pack.
Fair enough. He just kind of shrugs as well as you can shrug with an entire Dizzy hanging off of your arm.
At the
Like,
point
like
of Garrett,
one shoulder.
she'll flee from Olaf because Olaf just does not get the complexity that is Dizzy.
He doesn't.
And she'll
He
make her
really
way
doesn't.
over to Garrett and sort of just loop herself under his arm, sort of trying to pull him far away from the edge of the as far away from the edge of the bridge as possible.
And he'll resist a little bit, but he understands why she's getting away from the edge. And he'll just say, easy, easy, easy.
Until she can finally get to one of the cables on the inner part of the suspension, and she just sort of latches an arm around that, probably takes her scarf off and wraps it around her wrist several times, and then around the cable, and then back around the wrist.
What are you doing here?
I was in a van because it got kind of cold outside, and I couldn't find anything to start fire on the rock, and I think Olaf, I don't know, I saw some Asian ladies walking up to Olaf's door, so I just kind of said, nope, not today. And so I went and decided to take a nap inside one of the vans, and then all of a sudden I wake up, and we're here. On a bridge this high above the ground.
Okay, well, next time call me.
I literally just woke up, like, less than 5 minutes ago.
I mean, if you're looking for a warm place to sleep, next time call me.
It was just a little bit of a mosey.
Mrs. Chen and her daughter brought dinner over. I would have shared.
I didn't want to intrude. I've heard tell stories about how much the Stargazer kin seem to like you.
Well, yeah, I help look out for them. They're nice people. And he looks perplexed, like he's totally missing the plot here, considering that one of his guests was a woman in her mid-60s.
Dizzy doesn't judge. How Olaf decides Olaf wants to get down is Olaf's business.
With these two completely different mindsets, Olaf just looks at like Dizzy with he's gone from being annoyed to being perplexed.
Why don't you roll a P&E?
I should. I've been avoiding it for comedy purposes, but
I think it'll be far more comedic if he figures out what she thinks.
I got 3 successes.
With 3 successes, you can... You know that look you give somebody like, hey, I'm not judging what you do in your personal life?
Oh god.
She's got that expression on.
It begins to dawn on him. Oh no. 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 That is all of the no's. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're nice people, but no.
Dizzy, be easy on Olaf. He's gone through a lot of trauma with the moving rock and all that.
What are you talking about? The rock's only 15 feet from his door. I measured it this morning.
And I measured last night. It was 16 feet then.
Nah, you're crazy. It's always been 15 feet.
I told him maybe his cabin is moving.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
I told him it was probably Lily's revenge for him not talking.
And I have accepted this as a probable reality.
Ren turns and stares at the lot of them,
And
squinting a little.
Garrett looks at Dizzy, obscuring his face from Olaf, and he's winking at Dizzy.
She just looks at this, and she looks up at Olaf. Honestly, I mean, that house may have a mind of its own. It could be awakened for all you know.
Well, I told him that if he wasn't careful, the house may get transported to the realm of Oz, and he'd have to pay chimnage to the Lollipop Guild.
You don't want to mess with the Lollipop Guild.
No. He said he was going to go consult Lily. I don't know if he's done that yet.
I have 1 success on P&E.
Okay, well, I'm going to roll my nip sub.
Of course. I would expect no less.
And I got 3. So.
How about you,
I got
Dizzy?
2.
Are you going to defeat me?
I
Damn
got
it.
2.
All right. Their fear of this Lollipop Guild looks believable to Olaf. This seems like a legitimate threat in his life.
All I can say is, like, I've heard stories about what the Lollipop Guild does. It's not fun. Like, you wouldn't believe how many bones can be broken with an item of candy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well then.
Have you talked to Lily yet?
I didn't get a hold of her last night.
You know, the term jawbreaker probably comes from the Lollipop Guild.
Oh, man.
Ren just shakes her head and turns back to look up at the cubs.
Olaf shrugs his shoulders.
No, I failed.
Oh no, what did you fail?
Keeping a straight face.
Yeah,
God.
he went just ever so slightly.
What?
I forgot about the Jawbreaker story. That's a scary one.
You were just laughing.
No, Olaf, it's
have to
totally
laugh.
okay.
I
It's
have
totally
to
okay.
laugh.
Olaf, it's just... Come on, kind of think about it. Someone taking a large lollipop and then breaking somebody with it. I mean, you can't not see the humor in something like that. And that's my minute subterfuge for that.
My 3 beats your 2.
The story is starting to crack. Just like a jawbreaker cracking.
You know, I would have believed that people were moving the rock, or that the rock was awakened, or that my house was awakened, or that additions were being made and altered to my house to make it look like it was moving. For a while there, he even had me going about this apparent guild of lollipops. But the jawbreaker, that's where you fucked up.
Too much?
Too much.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted.
Hey, you know what? I'm a good sport. You got me for, like, the better part of a day.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Olaf. I will make a special batch of moonshine just for you.
He waves his hand dismissively. You don't have to. Garrett over there was just doing his job, and apparently doing it quite well.
I guess I was doing mine by enhancing the story.
You were, but too much. You live and you learn. And he looks back up to the Cubs.
Why are they up there?
They're getting practice for having to do something right important.
Why would anybody in their right mind go up that high?
Maeve's doing spirit shit.
That's still up pretty high.
Oh, believe me, I think this is one of the most fool things we've done in a minute, but the thing of it is that while you might not agree with what you're ordered to do, orders are orders.
At this particular moment, Lucas is starting to push and guide Maeve along towards the lip of the ledge, going, just go ahead and take it step by step, and don't throw your full weight on it, okay? Still holding on to the lead line that connects to him to her harness.
And Maeve will, much the same as when she crawled up, will essentially get low. She will probably even hold out her hand with a beggy face, and will very, very carefully try to get back down over the lip and back onto the ladder.
One step, one foot, and one
Aha.
solid stone piece of work. The other
And
one stepping on the steel, and on and on.
And with 2 successes, she will very carefully get onto the first rung, lower herself down to where she can grab one with her hands, and once she has that, she will finally let go of Lucas and carefully drop a couple rungs to give him room to follow.
Alright, see if Lucas can go ahead and follow. Ooh. Reasonably well with 3 successes. He goes ahead and commences with the descent.
Well, he definitely is much more smooth about it than she was. And so begins the descent. The long and
Descent
arduous
being
descent.
very much easier since they have gone ahead and practiced the ascent. Much safer,
Well, this is true.
and all that other good nonsense.
The safety will counter out some of the chill that may have gotten into their fingers. So let's see how she does for this next section. 2 successes again.
Well, while they're making the descent, Lucas takes his time, leads Maeve along, and he pretty much just goes ahead and shouts out, "So about Wolf Hell, what do you think?"
Right now? Like, she'll actually kind of pause to look up incredulously.
I'm going to make a perception alertness check at difficulty 9 to try and hear that.
They're at the very top of this bridge, over a howling storm.
I wouldn't do it, other than the fact that she has the acute sense for hearing.
Oh, very well. That won't stop you.
Damn.
2 successes.
In the snow, I kind of feel like in the snow and wind, her acute sense for hearing is probably in a lot of pain.
I was going to say there's wind, there's snow, there's traffic. There's a long, long, long distance between them.
So
and
she
honestly,
might be able to pick up she might be able to pick up a few more things towards the lower end of the descent. Not exactly what is occurring right now, but what occurs down towards the end of the conversation.
Yeah, honestly,
there?
I figure she could probably hear that they are talking, but like even with acute senses at that distance, it's insane.
Fair
And to
enough.
be fair, this is something they'd probably talk about even on the ground, so it's not like we're trying to hide some super secret.
No, just listening.
Well, I mean, let's maybe survive this and tomorrow, but I think we're good. Or as good as we can be. At least it keeps her
Awesome.
from focusing too hard and overthinking things. Oh, next roll, I've got
Awesome.
3. As she continues
Yes.
smoothly enough back down the ladder.
1, 2, 3. I love all these merits. You think you
Trying to
can
make
get
me
back up here
by
to talk to the
myself?
people you need to talk to? No, not by yourself. Of course I gotta by you. You think you can get up there with him to help?
If you're here, yeah.
Wonderful.
Climb, climb, climb. About how many rolls do we do on the way up, you think?
A few. Mostly to get the number of successes about 7 to 10.
Alright. So I think I'm sitting at what? Well, actually, how many did you have? You had the same amount, so we're at about 5 now.
Mhm.
Ooh. Sorry, that's a 9, a
I
1,
have
and 3 10s. That's my ooh.
a 9, a 1, and 3 10s. Well, you got 3 successes. I have 4 successes. We seem to be moving like in lock and step.
Mm-hmm.
The wind goes ahead and blazes across. Whiteout goes ahead and spreads across your face. It goes ahead and stings your face, actually, and covers your eyelashes and eyelids just a little bit. Makes your lip just a little bit more peckish.
Oh, yeah. Her nose
Dries them
is
out a little bit.
red. Her eyes are watering and freezing up a little bit, and watering and freezing up a little bit. Her eyelashes and eyebrows are probably completely white by now, and all visible hair. And as they continue their
Wonderful.
climb, I've finally made sort of nice with Albert. I think we'll be okay.
One last roll.
And actually, she only got 1 this time.
Well, Lucas got 4. So about the time that you're just about, I don't know, 5 feet away from the landing point, Lucas just goes ahead and just drop, it's fine.
She kind of freezes up and looks down initially, and seems doubtful because it's hard to, in all the white, perceive the distance. But you know what? She's got some pretty strong trust going on. So she'll just kind of grasp a hold and then hop back a bit so she doesn't like hit the rung with her face or something or get stepped on as she hops down that last portion. And let's see how smooth a landing that is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so she lands pretty steady-like. And again, just for
You
the sake of
rappel
being
off the
super
ladder, and nice. You rappel off the ladder. You maintain hold of the line. Eventually, your feet goes ahead and lands 2 feet away from the bottom and scuffles down. And Lucius goes ahead and leads the guideline a little bit off away from him. and proceeds to land your ass right on the ground and follow you quite quickly after.
And once they both have her feet, she will catch him up in another quick hug before glancing over towards Ren, who is probably the closest of the adults.
Ren tugs her scarf down and grins.
She'll flash her a
Lucas holds
thumbs
up a
up since-
hand. Lock.
What did you just say? Sorry, Austin, I couldn't hear.
I'm sorry. Lucas goes ahead and holds his hand up and goes ahead and yells to you, lock.
He's yelling that to Ren?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, she reaches into her purse and produces the lock. Offers it.
Like gesture. Yep. Goes ahead and relocks the chain up so it doesn't look like they've ever been here, because that's an important point. To cover your ass, to cover your tracks. And Lucas is gonna go ahead and through the wind, through the blaze, through the blizzard, through the ice, through the snow, go ahead and track his way back to the van, because it's cold out here.
Olaf trudges towards the van, making sure that those party members who are relying on him for a ride all make it back to the one vehicle that is going to be leaving soon. When he is sufficiently convinced that the others are going to be in tow, he gets into the driver's side and turns on the engine to begin warming the vehicle. He has yet to turn the lights back on, however.
And Maeve trundles along like a tiny, bundled up Yeti with the harness and probably the line still between her and Lucas because she just hasn't thought to clip it off yet.
Ren unhooks it from the bridge and follows them, holding the carabiner.
Lucas will offer his hand to take the other lead and say, I'll take care of that. It's cold.
And once Ren climbs into the van, she starts distributing thermoses of hot cocoa.
For the moment, Olaf doesn't look too interested in it. He doesn't necessarily brush her off, but he's obviously futzing around with something to do with the van settings.
She's
And
not
if
going to
Garrett-
interrupt him.
Sorry.
What?
I was going to say, if Garrett is between her and the van, by any luck, because with the lead on, she can't deviate but so far, because she's a little bit special, he is going to get hug smushed if he is close enough, at least briefly.
I was gonna say Garrett was gonna stay outside and motion for Dizzy to stay outside with him.
That's cool. Like I said, if he's en route to the van,
Not
he will get
currently.
briefly smushed. Damn it. Well, then he will get an awkward wave. And she will clamber into the back of the van, shedding snow all the while.
Dizzy looks up at Garrett with sort of a inquisitive but not perplexed look.
How you doing right now?
On a scale from 1 to 10, about a 3, maybe a 4.
You know where you are?
Of course I know where I am.
Where is that?
A fucking high suspension bridge.
The Brooklyn Bridge.
Uh-huh, what about it?
Where am I?
You're on the Brooklyn Bridge. What about it?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you take one step towards the edge over there?
And you can go right ahead and fuck yourself.
I'm just one step.
Should have looked at Garrett. You're gonna make me do this, aren't you?
Just one step.
She'll undo the scarf from around her wrist, wrap it back around her neck, and nope. She passes it. She doesn't run away in fear, but she ain't going anywhere near that. She like goes to take a step and she freezes and she turns paper white.
Okay, she's facing away from him right now, I assume?
She's facing towards the edge of the bridge.
Okay. He's going to say, okay, stop. Turn around.
Very happily turns back towards the roadway.
Where am I?
You're on the bridge. What are you trying to do?
I'm right here.
And what's your point?
I'm just saying. Anytime you want to try to face your fear, I'm right there.
She's going to turn around, she's put her foot back in the footprint that she just left, try and take a step. And she gets a bit further, but she's still very hesitant.
Okay, stop. Turn around. Where am I?
Garrett, if you say that one more time, I'm going to punch you in the throat in the most loving way possible.
Well, you already know the answer, so I don't have to say it.
Just turn around, try again. You realize with each one of these dice rolls, it's getting closer to her just running, right?
He'll say,
Damn. Through Garrett's cajoling, she manages to take enough steps to actually get to the handrail of the edge of the bridge. But she stops just shy of it.
now turn around.
She turns around.
Where are you?
Shut up.
And where am I?
She's going to reach down and ball up a handful of snow. And huck it at him. And fails miserably.
He doesn't even move. He just lets it sail past him.
She will turn around and try and look over the edge.
Got it.
No, she's just shy. You need 3 successes.
You got 3.
Oh, I did? Yeah, okay. So yeah, she's looking over the edge. Not happy, but she's looking over the edge.
You want to go grab a beer?
She darts back across the bridge into the van. Maven Lucas, anywhere in her way of getting into the van?
Oh, I don't believe so. I think they're seated quite happily, enjoying some hot choco.
Yep.
Well, when she hits the van actually rocks because she throws herself into the van. There's actually sort of a sound of a thud as she jumps into the back of the van.
Yep.
You're handed half a cup of cocoa.
Mm-hmm. You'll get a hand tugging you in and helping you settle up, and then you are getting offered cocoa.
She'll take the cocoa, pull the blankets back up around her into a small blanket for it. She becomes a blankerito, sticking her head out.
Garrett will slowly walk over to the edge of the bridge where Dizzy was standing and try, probably in vain, to light a cigarette in the wind. And after a few attempts, he'll finally just say, fuck it, and look over the edge, smile, and then turn around and head to the van.
Once everyone is inside of the van, which is quite warm by now, Olaf turns on the headlights and makes the slow and arduous process of judging which is the thinnest part of snow to drive over. And eventually, once he gets to the point where his old tire tracks were, he already being buried in the constant downpour of snow, he runs along his old indents and gets back on the street.
Back way to the Parks parking garage, 18th Street. Oh God.
Apparently, Olaf's backroad stylings cause Lucas an insane amount of distress.
It's freaking cold back here. Jesus Christ.
Pets.
He gets there eventually. It's a good time had by, well, mostly just him. He's actually quite acclimated to this kind of weather. Once he does get there at the end of a slow but safe and steady drive, he puts the van in park, resets the settings the way that the kinfolk have taught him to, so that nobody has to futz with it if they are on an emergency run. This is just the way he likes to roll, not necessarily the way they like to roll. And looks back at the others. So, I would like to thank you for enduring the journey to and from this lovely, lovely bridge that Lucas over here enjoys so very much. And Cubs, once you get back on Sept, your time is your own, though I suggest you shelter against the weather. And the rest of you, I don't know.
Ren is looking for a stick.
All the cleansing. All the cleansing.
I'm just going to assume that it's pretty easy to cleanse them. Not going to bother rolling.
I was going to say, can Maeve do some cleansing? Please, dear God, I need that too.
Oh,
Please
sure.
do.
Yep. There you go.
Please,
Lucas
dear
will
Lord.
offer to help as well. You just learned the right. Yay!
I was going to say, I don't have to cleanse everyone, but I need to cleanse someone, God damn it. Oh, it helps if I pay attention to what I actually need to roll. Just for the sake of having done it. So I'm official as shit.
This. Lucas goes ahead and from the back of the van goes ahead and says, "Let's see if we can't find some place to, weather this blizzard. That'd be fantastic."
Well, and again for validation later, the bloop, bloop, bloop. So many successes.
Nice.
So I can cleanse. I should probably stop at 4 people. Or actually, no, we have to do this thing tomorrow. I'll stop at 1 extra. Because I'll get that back tomorrow. So Maeve will at the very least cleanse herself and Lucas, and then probably offer offer Ren back her steak.
Ren cleanses some more people.
Lucas,
One at a time.
Lucas tries to cleanse people, but his skill is not that great. Nope. He tries and he fails. You can see the stick that he's holding fizzle out as he tries to circle one person, and Lucas just says, "Aw."
Once everybody is clean, Ren is going to reach over and give Olaf a pat on the shoulder, and then go trudging off through the snow.
Ren's exit answers just about everything that Olaf needed to know. He imagined that if she wanted something or needed something, she would have told him. So, he just starts herding the cubs towards home.
He will get a victorious "I did it" kind of hug before they start trottling back towards the cabins.
Da 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 da.
Yes. And would anyone else like to do things?
Garrett will look to Dizzy, and he knows that she's been badgering him to take her to a proper bar. He says, "No, I'm serious. You want to go grab a beer, whiskey, whatever, at a real joint?"
Can you get me in without an ID?
Yeah, I got words. I can talk you into anywhere.
She considers it for a minute. If you get a few people other to go, maybe, sure, why not?
It's up to you.
Maybe not in the middle of a blizzard.
Alrighty.
Seems like what would be the point.
Then we'll toast some of your awful crap at the Rock.
The rock that's 14 feet outside of Olaf's cabin?
Maybe 14 and a half.
14 and a half?
Yeah.
Alright.
It doesn't always work in whole numbers.
Rock's very fickle about the way it chooses to move.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for Dizzy and Garrett there.
All right. Anyone else? And hearing none, we will say thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We will see you next time on another thrilling episode of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.